Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. What can I get for you?
Who are you? I'm Jean-Claude. Jean-Claude, not Van Damme. Dang it!
Pull up to the second window and we'll see you next crime.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. I am John, here with Jamie. Do you remember when Jean-Claude Van Damme was a big deal?
Yeah, man. He's not anymore.
I don't know. Is he still alive?
I'm a big fan. Yeah, he is. How dare you put that evil on Jean-Claude Van Damme? I didn't know your middle name was Claude, though. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Jean. That's a very fancy way of saying John, or Jean is really how it's spelled.
It's spelled Jean. Jean-Claude. Nope. Jean-Claude Romand is who we're talking about today.
He comes from France. Do you know that movie reference? Coneheads.
Oh, yeah.
We come from France.
Way back.
You know what? I'm done talking. Why don't you get the ball rolling?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Jean-Claude Romand, who was born in 1954. And he spent nearly 18 years pretending to be a medical doctor and working for the WHO.
What?
The World Health Organization.
Oh, not the WHO, like
WHO.
The music band?
Not the band, not the owl sound. And he was working in Geneva. In reality, though, he had flunked out of his second year of medical school in the late 70s and never went back to finish his certification or degree or really any type of licensure. He was just lying about it. He had this elaborate deception by leaving home each day as if he was going to work. He would go and spend time in the forest, in a cafe, hanging out in his car, or just making up stories about international conferences.
So the guy's leaving the house, but he's not going to work, is what you're saying.
Is that not okay?
I mean,
am I not supposed to do that?
I don't know. Maybe leave work and go make money. But he spent time in the forest. I mean, that's cool, I guess. But this is for decades.
I mean, except for the stress of lying to everybody in your life, this seems like a pretty relaxing lifestyle.
Well, it gets more stressful. At least it should. So he supported this fantasy life by misappropriating money from his family and friends. So he was claiming that he was investing it in high return Swiss accounts. So this included funds from his parents, his in-laws. He lived with his wife, Florence, whom he met in medical school, and their two young children in a home near the French-Swiss border. By early January of 1993, his financial deceptions were on the verge of exposure. On January 9, 1993, he hit his wife, Florence, and ended up beating her to death with a rolling pin while she was in bed. The next morning, January 10th, he had breakfast and he watched cartoons with his children, who were aged 7 and 5, before shooting them in their beds.
That got dark real quick.
This is a case that we're kind of hitting in 10 minutes or less, but I think it would be a really good, main episode as well.
So he's living this lie for decades. He marries this woman he met in medical school who somehow didn't know that he flunked out. And then he kills his entire family. And after he did that, he drove to his parents' house, had lunch with them, and then shot and killed his parents and their dog. That evening, he went to Paris and attempted to strangle his mistress, who survived the attack. John, he has gone off the rails and intends to kill everyone he sees.
Yeah, he returned home. He poured gasoline throughout the house, ended up setting it on fire, and attempted suicide by taking an overdose of medication. Firefighters rescued him from the burning home, and he survived, and he was arrested.
He was charged with the murders of his wife, his kids, and his parents. In 1996, a French court convicted him and sentenced him to life in prison. However, after serving 26 years, he was released on parole. Can you believe that? This guy killed 5 people and a dog and tried to kill somebody else and himself in an arson. That should add up over the course of time.
This is a pretty wild story. I think that behind the scenes, he was feeling some pressure to, make good on the promises of the money, because he was taking money from all kinds of people and telling them that they were going to get a really good return on their money, but he didn't think about the end game. So, his parents, his in-laws are ready to cash all that in and retire. And guess what? It's been squandered because he's playing in the forest all day.
And at some point, all the lies are going to catch up with you. If there's a moral to this story besides don't lie and kill people, your lies will catch up to you. So it's always better to just start out with the truth, and that might lead you to some bad places, but it's better than where you'll end up with lies.
Yeah, absolutely brutal that it played out like this. What makes a person do this for so long and think that they're going to get away with it? It absolutely is astonishing. And the fact that his only way out was to murder everyone is even worse.
And as if I needed another reason to dislike France, letting this guy out of prison at all is a travesty, a sham, and a mockery. Or as I like to call it, a Travisham mockery.
I like that.
There you go. That's what it is. I can't believe they let him out. Absurd. John, thanks for bringing this up, though. I'd never heard of this case. This is probably one that I think we could spend a full episode on at some point, but it goes from 0 to 60 pretty quick. It's a wild story.
Yep. Guys, we appreciate you tuning in each and every week for a True Crime to Go episode.
Yep. This has been a crime story in 10 minutes or less.
Would you like crime with that?
You've listened to True Crimecast, distributed by Stoveleg Media. Check out stoveleg.com to find out more about your hosts and to find other podcasts to listen to. Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.